Hey everyone, Pem here. Sorry for the abrupt end of that last video. I ran out of space on my video hard drive, which that's the first time that's ever happened to me. I did not plan properly for it. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that the recording had stopped until I'd played for like another 20 minutes. Shows how often I look at the Fraps overlay. Um, so there's some stuff that was marked unread, and there's actually a system or two near Tuchanka that should be unexplored, but I've actually already explored them. I thought that there was an autosave from when we finished the Beckenstein mission, but there was not. This is the most recent autosave I could find, and some of the system around Tuchanka is already explored. So we'll go through and repeat that exploration. It'll be redundant for me, but it'll be new to you guys. So the last part of the codex that we had read was this one about gray boxes. Next one is Casa Fabrications Locust. The gun that killed 2 presidents is the infamous legacy of the Casa Fabrications Model 12 Locust. Originally created for the Systems Alliance, who wanted a lightweight weapon for high-gravity worlds, the Locust was designed to overcome the limitations of traditional submachine guns at long range. With bullet velocity of modern weapons already pushed to the limit, the Locust's designers sought a way to sought a way to improve accuracy through reducing weapon kick. They created an internal floating bed that absorbs the gun's recoil with minimal jarring of the gun frame itself. The barrel, magazine, chamber, and operating mechanism all move within this bed, which absorbs shock with springs and buffers. This creates a platform stable enough that the Locust can use auto-targeting software, usually reserved for match-grade weapons. The Locust's lethality on shielded targets has been amply demonstrated. In 2176, a Virginian patent clerk named Michael Moser Lang brought a Locust concealed in a shoulder-mounted video camera to a photo opportunity between Enrique Aguilar, the President of the United North American States, and Chinese People's Federation Premier Ying Xiong. At a distance of about 25 meters, Lang pierced the kinetic barriers, covering the stage with fire burst, and when Xiong heroically tackled Aguilar to remove him from the line of fire, Lang's succeeding bursts went through the Premier's body and fatally wounded both men. Donovan Hawk's collection contains 2 antique ivory-handled Locusts, modified to take thermal clips. A detachable data drive rests in the lining of the box, containing OmniTool specifications for fabricating copies. A quick trip to the extranet reveals one of the weapons has the same serial number as Lang's original. If it's a fake, it's extremely well made. Cool, I've got the original. Also, this is such a stupid story. Basically, it's the President of North America and the President of China are meeting, right? And when they realize that there's a assassin, the Chinese president dives on top of the American president to protect him, as if the Chinese premier, doesn't also have his own security detail that would be trying to protect him. They'd just be like, yeah, Mr. Premier, just save the American president, that's fine. End up getting both of them killed because it's stupid. It'd be like if Angela Merkel and Barack Obama were at a meeting together and somebody started taking shots at them and Angela Merkel dove on Angela Merkel dove on top of Obama. Like that'd be just dumb. The headlines would be stupid German head of state gets self-killed. That's what it would say. Ugh, that's so silly. What a silly story. Alright, Lady Liberty. The Statue of Liberty was the target of several terrorist attacks over its 210-year lifetime, but in 2096, a motley group called Freedom's First finally brought the statue down. Protesting the induction of Canada and Mexico into the United North American States, the New York chapter of Freedom's First wanted a symbol that they would secede from this new union if necessary. In the early morning hours of November 1st, they smuggled small arms and 15.5 tons of high explosive onto Liberty Island. Shooting or capturing the guards, they planted the explosives under the pedestal and detonated them at 7:37 a.m. The statue crashed to the ground in pieces, unexpectedly killing 4 of the Freedom First terrorists. Well, that was poorly planned, wasn't it? The remaining team members were apprehended after long manhunts, but the damage was done. The outrage at the secessionists kindled the fires of the Second American Civil War. Is that the first time I've heard they've mentioned that in the Mass Effect mythology? Because that's huge. You would think that would be mentioned before this, but okay. On November 4th, President Caitlin Cheung signed an executive order to rebuild the statue. Approximately 1/10 of the steel beams and copper plating from the destroyed statue was recovered and used in creating the new one. The original's head was put on display at the National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C. It remained there for 2 years until the Battle of Washington. During the heavy shelling by secessionist forces, the head disappeared. A new statue was completed in 2101, and the fate of the original pieces was left for speculation and pulp novels. Interest flared up briefly in 2159 when photos surfaced of the head in the cargo hold of a star freighter, but by that time human media were far more concerned with the future. In the face of humanity spreading out among thousands of new planets, a statue titled Liberty Enlightening the World seemed small and quaint by comparison. I suppose, but that's a big piece of history. And not just American history, too, but international history, right? It was a French gift to the Americans. I don't know. It's kind of and it was the symbol of immigrants, right, to the United States, to North America. And immigrants to the United States came from everywhere in the world. I mean, primarily Europe, but all over the place. So you think it'd be kind of a global symbol. I don't know. Is it a global symbol? It's certainly an American symbol. I'm speaking from a very privileged perspective, though. I don't know what it's like. I don't know how the Statue of Liberty is perceived outside of the U.S., if it's even thought of. But this seems a little trite, small and quaint. I don't know. It's a pretty big deal, Statue of Liberty, I think. Planet Beckenstein. More glittering than diamonds, more expensive than surgery, is how travel agents describe this planet behind closed doors. Given the opportunity to colonize planets after the First Contact War, the Systems Alliance chose Beckenstein to be their trading arm, producing goods to be sold on the nearby Citadel. Cracking the vast galactic marketplace proved difficult. The first human products sold on novelty alone. Then lack of demand hit Beckenstein's economy hard. Only in the second generation of colonists did the planet find a sustainable niche in high-quality entertainment and luxury goods. Once brand awareness sunk in, aliens flocked to Beckenstein's many spaceports. The planet today boasts more millionaires and billionaires per capita than any other human colony. Though its crime tends to be white-collar and non-violent, Beckenstein is not without its dark side. Both its suicide rate and inflation are extremely high compared to other worlds. That's conflating two very, very different things, isn't it? Our suicide rate and inflation are extremely high. Okay. That's like saying, unemployment and death by gunshot wounds are very low at this time. Like, yeah, okay. Why are we talking about both of them in the same sentence? Unemployment is artificially low because few people immigrate to the expensive planet without having a job lined up. And the cost of living is so great that unemployed workers typically leave for kinder planets after just a few months. Those who stay see themselves as tougher, sharper, and more skillful than the rest, as well as capable of getting respect and employment on any lesser planet. As a popular song says, if you can make it on the back, you got 'em by the neck. Sung by Frank Sinatra XVI. The Veteran, Saeed's Secrets. The M451 Firestorm. I don't think we read any of these, so let's do it. The M451 Firestorm flamethrower is a product of human ingenuity, ruthlessness, and industrial espionage. Its origin dates back to the 2160s, when human colonists to new planets used flamethrowers to clear vegetation or ice. Yeah, I remember this. That is dumb. That's so dumb. There's a reason that when, like in Brazil or South America, the slash and burn method of clearing forest, right? You light a fire, and then you let the fire do the burning. Why the hell you would use a flamethrower to clear vegetation? When you could just use a match? Oh, man. That's funny. I'm just imagining some farmer being like, I got what we need. Pulls out a flamethrower. Why would you use it to clear ice? That's so dumb. What a waste of energy. I mean, I don't know much about flamethrowers, but I do know that the reason they aren't used more often in real combat situations than they actually are is because they go through fuel at a ridiculous rate. So, you see like pictures of soldiers with flamethrowers on, and they got this tank on their body that's huge, and they got to carry this thing around. But they go through that tank in like 2 minutes or something. It's a really short time that flamethrower can burn. It burns through it really fast. So using flamethrowers to burn through ice, you'd have to have like a fucking tanker ship full of fuel to burn any significant amount of ice away. It's just nuts. I don't know. I'm still laughing at the image of a farmer with a flamethrower to get rid of the jungle. The fuels performed erratically on planets with extremely cold temperatures and differing air compositions from Earth. Realizing this could be a problem for military units, Systems Alliance intelligence operatives stole the Turian design for the Hieras flamethrower, a battle-tested workhorse that functioned in nearly every environment. The result was the Firestorm, an anti-personnel and anti-armor flame unit that can accept a variety of liquid fuels. The Turian design used low-octane hydrocarbons thickened with dentra oil, which is taken from large marine animals similar to Earth's whales. Humans then reverse-engineered a synthetic composite with almost identical properties that could be fabricated from heavy weapon fuel cells using an Omni tool. Okay, so that explains how we're using our fuel cells. Maybe it's different. Maybe the Firestorm's different because it uses heavy weapon fuel cells instead of presumably some kind of oil-based fuel. The result is a sticky spray that burns at approximately 1600 degrees Celsius, less intense fire than plasma weapons, but covering a significantly wider target area. Adding to the trauma is the choking smoke produced by the spray, and if the target's armor is breached, the fires may quickly consume the oxygen within. Is that how armor works? Target's armor is breached, the fire quickly. I guess if you have a closed helmet, like a space armor, like you're going out, perhaps out of a space lock, airlock rather, you might have armor that's sealed. The fires could really consume the oxygen within. At first I thought they were talking about within the target's shields, and then I was wondering, wait a minute. Every time Shepard's inside of a shield, he's breathing limited air, like if his shields don't lower every now and then, the air doesn't freshen. But then I read it again, and I'm like, oh no wait, target's armor. But the armor is what you're wearing. Those are like your combat gear. Clothes, basically. Saying if the target's armor is breached, the fires quickly consume the oxygen within your armor. I don't know if that makes sense. Unless you're wearing a closed helmet, like out on a planet somewhere. Firestorm may not be the most efficient weapon in the Systems Alliance arsenal, but the sheer ugliness of how it kills ensures it is the most feared. Yeah, and the most stupid, frankly. The Blue Suns, full history. Good. I always wanted a history lesson on mercenaries. Founded in 2160 by the human mercenaries Zaid Masani and Vito Santiago, the Blue Suns were initially a Skillian Verge protection racket. As they expanded in numbers and influence, the two co-founders disagreed vehemently on many issues. Finally, after arguing about whether to recruit the slave-trading Batarians into their ranks, Vito ambushed Zaid and shot him in the head. Believing Zaid dead, Vito took full control of the Blue Suns and hired whatever Batarians he pleased. Soon he had crowned one named Solem Dalsera as titular head of operations. It was a move designed to placate his Batarian investors and draw fire from would-be assassins. It worked on both counts, and the partnership has lasted to this day. Really? If it worked on both counts, to placate his Batarian investors and draw fire from would-be assassins, that means Solem had assassins after him, by Vito's own intention. And the partnership has lasted to this day, so Solem must be an idiot. He doesn't realize Vito's got him over a barrel. Over the decades, the Suns grew into a fearsome combat force spanning dozens of planets in Citadel space, the Verge, and the Terminus systems. Knowing that a good logistical team is key to fielding an army, Vito diversified the Suns, selling arms, training, and supplies as often as taking contracts to crack skulls. Even when the Suns suffered heavy losses, Vito's entrepreneurial expertise ensured new recruits could replace the old. All that was lost was the truth. Today, only a handful of trusted mercs even know who Vito Santiago is, let alone his old partner, Zaid. Planet Zoria. I think that we read this one. I remember the bring firearms and antihistamines thing from previously. Slash and burn farming. Yeah, these guys aren't using freaking flamethrowers. I'm gonna say that we've read this one. Let's see, was there anything in weapons and armor and equipment? No, I don't think so. Alright. Well, I had to do it twice there at the end. But we managed to do it, and we'll save it just so that we know that it's all done. Right, so this is where it's going to be a little weird. Because we're going to have to re-explore two systems that we actually already explored. So we're already here in the Krogan DMZ. I had already flown here. We've already explored Draenor and Neath. So but let's do it again. Back to Draenor. Right. Bung, bung, bung. It's all these little planets here. Little planetoids around it. Moons, I guess. Yeah, there we go. Rothla. Once Rothla was a large ice dwarf with the statistics listed below. In the waning years of the Krogan rebellions, it was shattered into a field of debris or into fields of debris by what is assumed to have been the test of an exotic weapons system. In the wake of the event, the planetoid was reduced to a relatively contained field of thousands of tiny moonlets, rotating around one another, colliding and ricocheting. The method used to destroy the planetoid has never been deduced. The Krogan clan who performed the experiment apparently all died in the event. Ships that have traveled to the edge of the event's light cone observed a moment of extreme gravitational lensing around Rothla immediately before its breakup, but no other clues. That's a really cool idea. That something could happen somewhere, you don't know what it is, but you could travel away from the planet or event, the location of the event, until you reach the place where the light from that event is actually, you can catch it and look at it and see what you can learn. Of course, you're looking at it as if you're billions and billions and billions of miles away, so you're maybe not going to get the most information from it, but still, it's better than not knowing anything. That's cool. Popular extranet meme put forward by Asari author Delse Orthisa insists that the Turians are covering up the existence of a Krogan superbiotic breed that was genetically engineered within Rothla. The CDEM enforces quarantine around the Rothla field, citing cases of amateur investigators whose ships came to grief in the debris field. I think we find out what CDEM is here in a little bit. I'm not even going to bother scanning it because there's no anomalies around here. Sazgoth. Sazgoth is a small ice dwarf with an eccentric orbit. During perigee, portions of its icy surface sublimate into a thin atmosphere of nitrogen and carbon dioxide, which quickly freeze again as it recedes into the outer reaches of the Draenor system. Fair enough. Not much to see here. Kalim. Kalim is a tectonically inert rock with an atmosphere of krypton, xenon, and argon. There are a few valuable loads of light metals scattered across its surface, but these are difficult to find. Most were mined out in the years leading up to the Krogan rebellions. Dor. Dor is a conventional methane ammonia ice giant. It is the main fueling port in the Draenor Cluster Gateway System. Pildea Station, the headquarters for patrol ships of the Council Demilitarization Enforcement Mission, CDEM. Yeah, there it is. Lies at the trailing Lagrange point of Dor. The CDEM logs all ships passing through the Krogan demilitarized zone, and has the right to board and search them for contraband at any time and for any reason. There are no exceptions. At points over the last 2 centuries, diplomatic incidents have been caused when the patrol frigates boarded an Asari hospital ship, a Batarian diplomatic courier, and privately owned human tramp freighters. I presume tramp means human trafficking? I'm not sure. What are tramp freighters? Huh, I don't know. These measures are provided for under the terms of the Krogan Armistice. While the Krogan were allowed to retain their government and personal weapons, any attempt to provide starship-mounted weapons to the clans on Tuchanka is punishable by law. Nearly a millennia after the war ended, the official penalty for smuggling proscribed weapons is still death by spacing. Population 7,300, CDEM garrison 1,100, not including patrol ship crews. And that, my friends, is the Draenei system. Neath, I wonder if I have enough fuel. We'll find out.
Only half our fuel remains.
We should be good. Let me take a drink here really quick. All this talking's making me thirsty. Tula! Whoa, that's a big star. Tula's methane ammonia atmosphere traps the blistering heat of Neath, driving dayside temperatures... maybe it's Nith. Nith? Driving dayside temperatures up over 1,000 degrees. While some loads of useful metals are present, the planet's incredible heat makes mining impractical. Mantoon. That's a cool name. The Class B Blue Giant Nith was once the most strategically valuable system within the Krogan territory. Though far too hot for habitable planets, Nith emits thousands of times the energy of a main sequence star like Earth's Sol. Excuse me. With help from Solarian uplift teams, the Krogan constructed a chain of solar power collector stations in orbit around Nith. These vast arrays beamed power to particle accelerators on the surface of Mantoon, which manufactured anti-proton fuel for warship thrusters. In the Krogan rebellions, the Spectre agents managed to get a virus into the computers of the solar power arrays. Every fifth array was suddenly applied braking thrusters. The arrays behind them piled up, and all were reduced to wreckage. This has since dispersed into a relatively stable ring system. The Krogan never had the resources to rebuild the solar arrays, depriving them of their fleet's main fuel supply for the remainder of the war. The particle accelerators still exist on Mantoon, but have not been used in thousands of years. 1,000-year-old particle accelerators. That would be neat. I wonder how possible it would be to actually, power them up. Probably not at all. They'd need serious maintenance, I'd think. Vard is a methane ammonia ice giant. Until the Krogan rebellions, it had a sizable helium-3 fuel refining infrastructure. Once the solar arrays orbiting Nith were destroyed, the constant flow of anti-proton tankers visiting the system disappeared. There was little point to maintaining the facilities, so they were shut down and abandoned. Today, the ancient stations are squatted by transients, criminals, and outcasts. Although few are safe for habitation, neither the Krogan nor the CDEM patrols care if they take their chances. Population 2,072. I imagine that's not a very accurate number, given that these are all people who probably don't want to be found. Alright, back to Erelak. We'll refuel first, so I don't forget to do it. When we leave Tuchanka, we'll explore this system first. Second, rather, and then we'll land on Tuchanka. Start with you. What do we got? Ruam. Or Rom. Rom? Ruam. Okay, Ruam. The smaller of Erelak's hydrogen-helium gas giants maintains a small helium-3 recovery infrastructure. Although the depth of Ruam's gravity well makes it inefficient to export, visitors to the Erelak system often top off their fuel tanks at Ruam's stations. The CDEM maintains a token garrison to monitor any potential sale of fuel to known subversives, and terrorists. Population 1040, CDEM garrison 20. Canine. One of Canine's hemispheres contains an impact crater 700 kilometers in diameter. Dubbed the Renkat Basin, it was mined for light metals in the interbellum between the Rachni War and Krogan rebellions. Any obvious resource concentrations have long since been stripped. Ooh, hang on, there's a teeny tiny orbit here. Durak. Durak is a small, heat-blasted rock lost in the blinding glare of the star Erelak. It occasionally traps a trace atmosphere of gases blown in on Erelak's powerful solar wind, which inevitably blows the gases back out again. The planetoid has a few valuable loads of heavy metals, which were sporadically mined by the Krogan at the height of their power. In the closing years of the rebellions, The 5 clans working the planetoid fell to fighting over a particularly rich deposit of iridium. All 5 clan warheads agreed to a crush, a meeting at a neutral location, to negotiate a truce. Unfortunately, all 5 arrived planning to betray their fellows. While the leaders and their seconds met, all their bases were destroyed by simultaneous hypervelocity cannon strikes. Left alone with only the food, water, and air in their hard suits and with no way to call for rescue, the warlords apparently fought each other to the death. The survivors of the 5 Durak clans on Tuchanka still argue about which clan's warlord was the last one standing. That's a classic Krogan slash Klingon slash samurai tale right there. I mean, not that there's samurai stories like that particular story, but it sounds very honor-driven. Like, we have nothing left to live for, now we fight, that kind of thing. Kruban is a tidally locked Venusian hothouse, its surface perpetually obscured by clouds of sulfur and carbon dioxides. The first group of Krogan brought into orbit by the Solarian uplift teams requested a trip to Kruban. The Solarians at first thought the Krogan were confused about the nature of Kruban's environment. The planet is named for a Krogan mythological paradise, in which honorable warriors feast on the internal organs of their enemies. In fact, Krogan astronomers had correctly deduced the nature of Kruban in the years before the global Holocaust. In the 2 millennia since, Kruban has come to be thought of as an ideal test of one's toughness. Every year, a few Krogan attempt to land on Kruban and exit their ships naked in an attempt to prove their Kroganhood. The planet's surface is littered with the crushed, corroded remains of their ships. Only one, Shath Norda, is known to have returned from the surface alive, albeit with most of his bones crushed and all 4 of his lungs damaged by sulfuric acid. Norda recovered from his trial to the adulation of his people. Until he died in 1943, he could lie with any fertile female he wished. Well, good for Norda. That's good. They called him Shath. Hush your mouth. Vol. Vol is a hydrogen-helium gas giant named for an ancient Krogan deity that stood watch for the enemies of his pantheon. The gas giant's moons are named after some of Vol's myriad eyes and ears. The only reason to visit the Vol system is scientific curiosity, which the Krogan lack. Okay, so I think the only thing we have left is Tuchanka, right? That'll get us up to 100%. Let's go there now. Tuchanka. Scarred by bombardment craters, radioactive rubble, choking ash, salt flats, and alkaline seas, Tuchanka can barely support life. Thousands of years ago, life grew in fierce abundance under the F-class star Aralak, a Rake clan word meaning Eye of Wrath. Tree analogs grew in thick jungles, their roots growing out of shallow, silty seas. Life fed upon life in an evolutionary crucible. This world died in nuclear firestorms after the Krogan split the atom. A little ice age of nuclear winter killed off much of the remaining plant life. In recent centuries, many Krogan have returned to their homeworld. The reduced albedo has caused global temperatures to rise. In order to maintain livable temperatures, a vast shroud was assembled at the L1 Lagrange point. It is maintained by the CDEM, which is based on orbiting battle stations. CDEM Advisory. Visitors to Tuchanka land at their own risk. The CDEM will not attempt to extract citizens threatened by clan warfare. Travel Advisory. The ecology of Tuchanka is deadly. Nearly every native species engages in some predatory behavior. Even the remaining vegetation is carnivorous. Travel beyond guarded areas is strongly discouraged. Population 2.1 billion. Capital currently Erdnot. That's good to hear. Since 2183. CDEM garrison 2400 in orbital battle stations. Alright, let's land on this hellhole. Express elevator to hell. Going down. Right. Well, we're here to do Morden and Grunt, so let's just take them. Take them both. And they might have some points to use, yes. Because it has been a while since we've used them. Won't be able to use any of Morden's points, but Grunt... I'll give you that. 6 points. That might be all the points you get, right? Actually, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we can get you to level 3 fortification. Let's leave this for now. We're good. Arc projector. Let's choose something else this time. Yeah, sure. What the hell? No, not that. Sorry. That. Yeah. I imagine if anybody's going to respect us for carrying a tactical nuclear warhead on our back, it's going to be the Krogan.